everyone, and welcome to the Oily Cadence Fresh Oil Fridays. Even though it's Wednesday, I kind of had to postpone this one a little bit, but that's okay. So I'm so glad you can be here with us today, and we're starting episode 2 of our Detox series. This time we're talking about food. So I've got Bo here with me, and he's helping me on the tech side, and he's got plenty of information, going in with us too, because he's been learning a lot of stuff as well. It's pretty cool.
It's kind of changed my way of looking at things, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
As we were going through this, I actually bought a juicer the other day, so that was a new one for me, because like I said, I've learned so much here, and there's so much going on, especially around this season when we're talking about detoxing and everything, because there's a lot of information out there, and I'm excited for this one because this is part 2 of it, so it's going to be another dive in. So, Gina, where are we heading out first?
We are talking about food today, and especially the part of where everybody knows it's healthier to eat organic, but how important is that really? So what I wanted to kind of show is how important that actually is. And we're going to start with GMOs, genetically modified organisms. So the definition of that is the deliberate modification of the characteristics of an organism by manipulating its genetic material.
Okay.
I don't know about you guys, but to me, when man starts messing with nature, he just messes everything up.
Yeah, it just doesn't work out too good. It just doesn't work.
No, God made things the way they are for a reason, and they work best the way God made them. Thus, we just tend to mess things up, especially when you get down to the genetic code.
Yeah, especially at that point.
One thing I wanted to bring up here is a documentary called The Future of Food. And I'm going to have a link to that. This one really dives into GMOs and what everything is. But The Future of Food deals a lot with GMOs. Monsanto is the one of the really big seed corporations, and really big into the whole reason why GMOs have gotten started. And this Future of Food documentary even goes into like how Monsanto has gotten into our government and allowed some of the laws with GMOs and everything. So, it's a really good documentary. I really would recommend that one for diving deeper into this issue than what we're going to be able to go into today. But basically, when you're doing a genetically modified organism, they remove a section of DNA and then they put in DNA from something else. It may be something a tomato.
Kind of like a destructor or a synthetic.
Not kind of, but not really, because you're dealing with the actual DNA. It's not just a receptor that you're clogging with something. You're actually removing DNA, or protein.
So you're actually changing the molecular structure of the cell organism.
Yes. And part of my question is, where do they put that chunk?
Or what do they put in place of it?
Yeah. And, because you think about, if you've heard of Roundup Ready soybeans, the point of that is they can spray the soybeans, and so that it'll kill the weeds around it, but it won't kill the actual soybeans. That doesn't sound natural to me. And there's not much research out there to show the ramifications and what all surrounds that, how it can affect the human body, how it affects animals. There's not a lot of information and research on how that goes about, how it deals with everything, with nature in general. But a lot of countries have either banned or outlawed GMOs, or at least have some very strong restrictions on it. The United States is one of the most lenient countries on this sort of thing.
On GMOs, yes. Yeah, I've noticed that. And
yeah,
there's a lot in there as well. And there's even some products that say organic, but it's questionable on the organic side because it could have traces of GMO inside of it, but not actual GMO. So it's a gray line, unfortunately. And GMO is a terrible. It's in large quantities of it. I can't necessarily say it is absolutely bad for you. You should never do this.
Yes.
But large amounts of it, which is what we were discussing about, and detoxing, is once you have those certain amounts and you're putting them inside your body, you're throwing things out of kilter. You really are. Because you're inserting into your body something that your body is not registering with it and doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah. And it can even register it as a toxin, so then it's attacking it instead of
using it
like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
This is part of the research that isn't completely done. This is they don't completely understand this yet, and yet
it's kind of like they just take it and they're like, does it kill the person?
Yeah.
Nah, he's still breathing.
Yeah, we're good.
He's good. Put it in the product line.
Yeah. Anyway, so and part of here's some more of the problems is weeds and insects will adapt to chemicals sometimes.
Okay.
And thus
weeds and insects can adapt to chemicals.
Like they will. Oh, I just had the perfect example and it flew out the window.
Imagine that.
But they'll get to where they can get to where they are resistant. Okay, and bacteria. You hear about bacteria getting to where it resists an antibiotic. Same sort of things with weeds and insects. So they keep adding on these more powerful chemicals and pesticides, herbicides, and then more powerful chemicals into our food, and thus we get more toxins, we end up with more junk in our bodies, and it just kind of adds on top of itself, and it just keeps on getting worse and worse.
Yeah, and speaking of the pesticides and so on and so forth, have you guys, I'm going to challenge some of you out there, have you ever thought of looking at the back of a pesticide? Go to Walmart, go to the inspect and spray section, and read the back label of a pesticide. It has the MSD that we talked about, the MSD sheets, talks about the chemicals and the warnings and stuff like that. Read what they have in there. We have a couple images that we're going to be showing here in a little bit, talking more in depth about this pesticide things, because it's really
scary.
It's scary.
It's really scary. And the other thing about just keeping adding on more chemicals is then you have less nutritious food. And when you have less nutritious food, you have to eat more. Whenever you have to eat more, that's what, why do we have obesity? We're not getting the nutrition we need, even though we're eating a lot. Yeah. We're not getting the nutrition we truly need because our food is getting these chemical fertilizers that's not really helping the plant. And, it just keeps going on and on and on.
Well, it goes beyond that. Did you know, for those of you out there, that go to the potato section at Walmart. Here's a good one for you. All right? Go and look at potatoes. Potatoes normally supposed to be about this size. Okay? Average growth. Yeah. I had a farm. Gina grew up on a farm, okay?
We were thrilled when we got one like this.
We were just whoa! Now you go over there and you see those Idaho blue potatoes that are measuring almost a foot long. Okay, that's not natural. They're modified. They use like a fertilizer that actually increases and changes the way the potato actually grows, gives it fake nutrition. Suddenly it doesn't have the nutrition facts that you need. Yeah. Your loaded baked potato is now loaded with a lot more than just potato inside of it. And it's going to cause a whole lot more problems for you. So there's just a fact. So if you see fruit or vegetables or food that's not the normal size that you would normally see it, it's most likely been genetically altered, either from when it was a seed all the way to during the process of it developing. So.
And that's another thing that is dealt with in the future of food is how they have gotten to where things are bigger and bigger and bigger, and bigger does not necessarily always mean better, you know? But it explains some of that as to why and how Monsanto has, you know, kind of been pushed on this, you know, and, you know, how money's a part of it, and, you know, it's all that sort of thing, you know, but, you know, I just really recommend that, you know, there's only so much I can say here, so go get that documentary, it's really awesome. But one thing I want to, you know, a couple solutions actually I want to bring up is whenever you find a farmer, especially if you can find a local farmer,
Yeah.
who cares about the farm, cares about the soil, they will build up the soil naturally by using the manure. They'll make their own compost. They can use worms, you know, red wiggler worms. I love those. They're so much fun. Yeah, anyway, I'm a weirdo. Yeah. Then there's also like your, you know, leaves. They'll use leaves. And whenever they build the soil with natural products, it's going to have healthier plants that is going to in turn give healthier fruit and vegetables, which will give you better health, and you actually won't have to eat as much because you are getting the nutrition you need. So keep that in mind whenever you go to farmers markets. Talk to the farmer, see how he does everything, see if they use the chemicals, because there are, you know, ones at farmers markets that do use chemicals. So keep that in mind. But talk to him, and then you're supporting local and you're getting better food. So that's kind of a solution there. Another thing is I want to bring up the Dirty Dozen. This comes from the Environmental Workers Group, and I'll have the link to this website because it's a really good resource for many things beyond just food. It's chemicals, you can look all sorts of things up there. But this Dirty Dozen list, it has strawberries, spinach, nectarines, apples, grapes, peaches, cherries, pears, tomatoes, celery, potatoes, and sweet bell peppers. What this is all the fruits and vegetables that top the list with the most or the worst chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, etc.
This is where I was talking about earlier. This
Yes.
is where it gets crazy.
Yes, the most out of all of them. Such as, in their research, they found one strawberry contained 22 chemicals. Now that was one of the strawberries. The other of them is 1/3 of all conventional strawberries had 10 or more chemicals on it. One strawberry had 10 or more chemicals. Yeah, that's ridiculous. So every time you eat one strawberry, you're ingesting at least 10 chemicals, unless you found the strawberry that had 22, and then you've got that whole list of stuff there. So, you know, I think I might get organic strawberries.
Yeah, it really causes you to think, because, and I'll brush a little further on that, and I want to go because there's a lot here you all need to understand, is that pesticides, we grew on farms. Pesticides originally, we would put it on like our lettuce and stuff like that to keep worms from eating out the leaves and stuff like that, and that's absolutely understandable. But when they're using pesticides to a far more extent that it starts damaging the nutritious values, and now it's really causing me to think about all the pesticides. People who grow with organic stuff actually use mineral-based, I believe.
It depends on the farmer. Such as my brother had a market garden himself, and there was some things that are allowed in organic that he wouldn't even do. I believe it was, I forget the name of it, but it was based off of chrysanthemums is what he would use for a pesticide.
Which is a natural plant, if I remember correctly.
Yes, chrysanthemums, you can buy those.
You can buy those.
Those pretty flowers, you know. And so it was based off of that, and he would spray it, he had to spray it a certain time of day, and wherever the bugs were at the larva stage, so they were soft. So he had to know what he was doing, but he had beautiful produce, absolutely gorgeous produce, and everyone always talked about how much more flavor it had, and it tasted so much better because he had better soil, and he picked ones that weren't good, just about the would it ship fine. He made sure that it actually had good flavor in it.
And I bet you he probably never had to wear a mask or do something. Guys, for those of you who don't know it, this is actually from a California strawberry field.
Yeah.
So this is a big producer of produce. I won't get out the name because we're not allowed to, but this comes from California. Look at that guy. He's wearing almost a hazmat suit. He's got an air respirator on, and he's spraying down the strawberries with what it looks like a garden hose of pesticides.
Chemicals. Yeah. Of chemicals. And it's like if you're having to spray your produce with something while you're wearing a respirator, you probably shouldn't be eating it.
You probably shouldn't be eating it, and you probably shouldn't. And by the way, if you look on the back of the MSD sheets, it even says you're not supposed to drink it. You're not supposed to ingest it. Yet we're spraying on the food that we ingest.
Yeah.
What the crap?
Yeah, it's just horrible.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, so in the detox, go back to the detox fact of it, those pesticides and those toxins actually stay in your body.
Mm-hmm.
They will actually attack the parts of the fat part of the body because the body doesn't know how to process it, so it stores it into different locations. And I'm going to say this because it's possibly true. If you think about that, these actually history, I'm going way off right now. This script is not even on there, so forgive me, but I'm saying it anyways. Those chemicals, when they sit inside your body and they don't do anything, they mutate.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say mutate, I mean it could possibly even cause cancer. That is true. It's a true fact. You could, let me try to think of something. Remember asbestos?
Yes.
Asbestos? Okay. Asbestos also can be a spray as well. And in fact, they used it as texturing on the walls and so on and so forth. It was in your paint, some of them. It was in lead. I mean, we can go in. Yeah. It's all there. It was used. What's the problem is when it was used like that, they didn't have evidence while it was being used that it could cause what it does. 30 years down the road, guess what? Hello, world.
Asbestos is horrible. Make sure it's not in your house.
Yeah, it's not in your house, yet it was used inside your texturing your walls. It was used for all different type of applications. I mean, it was used for your air vents. It was used for insulation. And just unbelievable amounts. And the same thing when it comes to pesticides. Yes, it is at a global extent. Everybody uses it, but how are they using it? How much are they using it? How much are you putting it inside your body on a day-to-day basis? Too much of a good thing can become a very, 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 very bad thing very quick. I love brownies. Just saying. I have too many of them. Guess what's going to happen? I'm going to be fat and a roly-poly.
And that's another thing to think about when we're talking about here, because it's not, people will say, oh, you're not getting that much, and yet maybe in small, really tiny doses, like on one strawberry, it's not going to hurt you. But look at the list. Spinach is the other thing on the list, and it says 97% of conventional spinach tested and contained chemical residue.
Oh, man.
So, you're not just getting it on your strawberries, you're getting it on your spinach. And whenever you add up that's just the top list, that's just the top 12 that they found. And so whenever you add all that up and you're getting all these chemicals multiple times on many different fruits and veggies, and then we're going to add the animal factor in here with all the hormones and all that sort of thing that they inject animals with, you're really getting a lot. So
yeah, and to brush up on the animal food meat thing, that's another thing, guys. There is a movie out, and I think you were going to talk a little bit about it, that really brushes up in that. they use special chemicals to actually make chickens, cows, any type of meat that you ingest, to advance it, to really push it, to help them double in size. They ingest them with hyperactive protein cells that helps develop the muscles. Well, it's fake. They're genetically made. It's been altered. You remember with that milk, that hormone milk that they did? For those of you who remember, I think it was a couple of years ago, there was young girls complaining about or going through puberty way too early in their life because of they were drinking hormonal based milk. And it caused serious issues. And I believe that milk was even pulled off shelves, if I remember correctly. I can't remember.
It was bad,
but I know it was bad enough that they threw up so many medical red flags, and it caused everything else. That was approved by the FDA. Okay? That was approved by the FDA. That means the FDA said it was okay. Just because it says USDA or FDA approved does not mean they did all the tests that needs to be done. They only test things for a couple months, and that's a fact. You can go on their website, you can check, and you can see it for yourself. They only test it for just a little bit of time. They didn't have to do it for long term. There is no really big long term test. It is
we are the long term.
We are the long term test.
Which is the scary thing.
Which is the scary thing. So, what was that name of that movie that you were going to talk about?
Food Inc. is what it is. And also another thing I really like about that one is it's not just a downer. You know, kind of like some of these can be, you know, downers and, you know, how horrible and all this bad stuff is going on. But this one really gives you some tools and tells you, you know, gives you tools to kind of how to vote with your dollar, like I say, you know, and so it explains more the animal side and really gives you some well-rounded information on animals, not just plants, you know, animals as well. And another one I wanted to bring up actually is called Fresh, and this one has Will Allen in it of Growing Power. It's based in Wisconsin. My brother actually got to go do an internship with him.
Cool.
And, you know, not just him, you know, it was Growing Power, but he did get to work with Will Allen, so it was really cool to get to do that.
Probably where you learned a lot of the things that he did now.
He knew a lot before he went, but he definitely learned a lot whenever he went there. More on, because Growing Power, if you don't know, it's based in the middle of the city. You know, you have all these tall apartment buildings all around you and this concrete and asphalt, and randomly there's these greenhouses with an aquaponics, and they have tilapia, they've got goats, chickens, you know, everything in this city base. And he talks about in Fresh how they are trying to get more out of a smaller area. And you can do that and still have healthy plants and animals, such as aquaponics. They use the fish who fertilize the water. They then take the water up to where it, you know, where the fish have been in it. They take that water up and take it into the plants. The fish is fertilizer. It fertilizes these plants, who the plants filter out the water. So by the time it gets back down to the fish, it's clean water again. And so they have beautiful lettuce, and I don't know what all they grow that way. Lettuce and spinach, and I think sometimes they're even doing some tomatoes. I think so.
Correct.
You know?
I heard that they were going to start doing lemons as well. I heard about that. It's really cool stuff there. Another thing I wanted to brush up, guys. Gina just pointed it out really well, how the system is working and how it was naturally put into place. You got to think about that. God made this earth for a reason.
Yes.
And he put everything he needed for man in the garden. Those of you who aren't Christian, let's state a scientific fact. It's the most historically accurate documentation right now. Okay? Actual fact. So let's go to that documentation, because it was before, from what we understand, before humans and technology and everything got involved.
Yeah.
So you could see it. There was a cycle back there. Even the Egyptians had it in the desert.
Yeah.
They knew how to farm.
Yeah.
They knew how to grow wheat. They knew how to fertilize it and become natural, and use that. They had sugar cane. They knew how to do all this type of stuff. You can go to Japan, where they had giant rice fields, natural rice fields.
Yeah.
You know what they do now in rice fields? Absolutely insane. They now spray them down with huge fog machines of pesticides so that the bugs and mosquitoes don't grow and tamper with the water. That unbelievable stuff. And that's in the rice. That's in rice.
Yeah.
And then that's not even going to the fact how they process the rice. They bleach it.
Yeah.
Every time you see white rice, it's not naturally white.
Yeah.
It's been bleached. And then when you rinse it out and you see all this little white water that starts to get cloudy, that's actually the bleach washing off of the rice. And guys, flour, same process. They bleach it. Unless you're getting natural whole wheat grain flour, you're getting bleach inside your flour. Which, by the way, you eat at fast food restaurants and stuff like that, guess what? Guess what's in that flour? Bleach. A whole lot of it. And you're eating it all the time. It's in your bread. We're talking about toxins here. We're talking about detoxing your body and getting it out of there. You got to start with this.
Yeah.
It's something your body needs so much, is nutrients, and good nutrients. Pretty soon what happens is your body no longer is able to determine what's a good nutrients and a bad nutrients. Before you know it, you're not getting the nutrients that your body needs. In fact, it becomes a toxic waste.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
Which, and here we come to this point that I want to make, where people say, oh, it's so expensive to buy organic. And I know organic law isn't perfect, but it's better than nothing.
Yes.
And if you can find a local farmer, great, so go support him.
Yeah.
But if you feel like you can't afford your grocery bill, reprioritize.
Yep.
Honestly, my husband and I, we love to go see movies, but we really don't go see them hardly at all, because we value our health. We really value our health, and we put more on it towards things that are going to keep us healthy, and then we don't have to worry about going to the doctor so much, and we're going to be able to not have to worry about insurance so much. We don't even have to put as much towards health insurance because we're not worried about going to the doctor as much.
Yeah.
So if you're worried about that grocery bill, look at your life, reprioritize, see what you can cut out. And if things are just really tight, because hey, I know things can just be tight and hard to make ends meet, at least start with the dirty dozen.
Yeah.
At least start there.
At least.
And do your best to get those organic or natural, and honestly, you'll see things natural that say natural. Don't believe it unless you know the company. Just really research your companies on that sort of thing is honestly what I can tell you on that, because natural sounds good, but make sure it's organic and it is a true certified organic, not just. And if you can find something that's organic and non-GMO, even better.
Yes, absolutely. And there are some, for those of you who live in the 4-state area around here, that I do want to brush up to. Guys, there are grocery stores that sell organic and good, healthy stuff at an affordable price. There's Aldi's. Aldi's is an excellent grocery store to go to. You can find organic and natural products there. There's a fresh produce market in Joplin now that actually only
natural grocers.
Natural grocers, yes, natural grocers, and that is actually a natural grocery store place. It's
very, very good.
Very good, expensive, but very, very good product. Okay, there's places like everybody shops at Walmart. Everybody does, and we understand that. But just watch the labels. Okay, just watch the labels. Even watch the labels when it comes to what you were just telling me about, cottage cheese, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Throw that one out there. That one kind of threw me in for a loop.
I just got to sit in with a naturopath session one time, which was absolutely fascinating. I geek out on that sort of thing. I love it. Anyway, and he made the comment of, if you're going to eat cottage cheese, make sure it is organic and make sure it comes from the state of California, because it's the only state that outlaws them putting plaster of Paris in it.
Plaster of Paris. The thing that you use to fill holes in your walls.
Yes. I mean, my mother used to make cottage cheese, and she would always complain, oh, it's not the consistency I want. It's not the consistency I want. Well, guess what? It doesn't have plaster of Paris in it. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Horrible. But, yeah, so there's that little tidbit for you on cottage cheese. Back to the cost thing also, but where we're thinking, more expensive.
Yeah.
Is also you're going to be eating less.
Yes, you are going to be eating less. This is a fact.
Yes, because as you get your nutrients, at first, yes, it may seem more expensive, but one, reprioritize, and two, you're not going to have quite as many of your, you're going to have more nutrients. So as you go, you're not going to need as much of your fruits, veggies. That's what I'm trying to think of. Well, better nutrients means you won't have to eat as much. There we go. I'm going to get it. And another thing is, soak your fruits and vegetables. I know a lot of people, it's kind of a pain, but honestly, I shared a DIY recipe earlier this week on the Oily Cadence, so go look that up if you want to DIY. Or there's the Young Living Thieves one. That's an awesome one to do. Soak it, rinse it, and enjoy it. It's going to get a lot of the stuff off of there, a lot of the junk. Probably not 100% of it because it was grown on it, so it was in the dirt, but it will at least help. So start with the dirty dozen and then soak the rest if you can. It's going to at least make it better for you, and help you out a lot more.
It will do a whole lot more than what you think, and it'll definitely increase your health as well. Another thing also, I just bought a juicer, and I'm just going to throw this out there. I bought a juicer, and the reason why I bought it is because I'm going to start a detox myself, and it's a heavy detox. It's 72 hours, and we'll talk about it afterwards. I'm going to do it for the sake of this show and the sake of just science for myself and my family, and it requires me to juice different vegetables to release different toxins in my body. Now, I was told when I was reading the article that it is a heavy detox, and it's something you have to take 3 days off for because it's pretty rigorous. But I've never done it. I've got 27 years of all sorts of different type of stuff in my body.
Yeah.
And I need to get out. And I have a feeling it's going to help me. I lost my hair at a very, very young age, and I don't know why. So I'm going to try to see if there's different metals and stuff, and like we talked about last week, detoxing your bathroom, detoxing the cleaner supplies and stuff like that. Maybe there's some stuff in my skin. I have sometimes weird bumps that come on my hand from different toxins that are in my body. There's just all kinds of stuff. A lot of the things that we use in medicine and other things to take care of, it's actually signs that your body is reacting to something that you already have in your home, okay? So rather than paying medical money to have that pill to fix something that you could just do out with and be much safer for your body, much healthier, you're not putting a synthetic organism into your body to counteract this organism. You are just letting your body do its natural job.
Yeah.
And it's important. Again, back to Genesis and the Bible, the creation. God created you a certain way, and it's very important that you maintain that and you keep that up, because it's how you're structured. It really is. It's how you're structured. So this is part 2 of the detox.
Mm-hmm.
detox your food, detox your kitchen. We'll come back and we'll talk about the organ detox. When is that?
I believe it's in 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because this Friday, actually, my husband David and I are going to be getting on here, and we're going to be talking a little bit more of our story, going a little more in depth on his weight loss story, because he's always struggled with it, and kind of how we have, what we found worked for us, how we're growing and changing that as well, how it's changed our lifestyle, how we did it. So hopefully there'll be some tips and tricks in there for you guys that we would will help you as well.
You need to stay tuned for that. You need to tune in on that. That's going to be on Friday. Very important.
Yeah, because we're wanting to tell you our story, because we're real people and we have real lives outside of this video bubble. So I want to make sure that you know how we have worked things into our lives and how we live from day to day. That way, you know, it happens. It's like, you know, there's a little more sugar in our house these days than there has been, but we don't eat and we don't want near as much sugar as we used to, because used to at the holidays we would just gorge ourselves, you know, and couldn't get enough.
Brownies,
but
everything. These
days it's kind of like one bite and we're going, oh, that's like plenty for a week, you know, I'm done, you know. We stuck some in the freezer and it probably will end up getting thrown away because we're going, this is just too much. So
absolutely it is. And one thing you brushed up on sugar, we're gonna go there. Sugar is also as addicting as cocaine, and there's studies shown about that. It actually has the same ramifications on your brain as cocaine does. It causes sugar is the number one probably most used ingredient, I would say in most food that you eat, and that sugar is not there's good sugar and there's bad sugar, and the way we're using sugar is bad. There's a natural sugar that you need to be considerate about too, and it actually comes from the food that you eat. And then there's raw sugar cane. We can use raw sugar cane. That is a natural sugar that you can use. But that's again further inside the detox. Today we were just going to part 2 about what you're putting in your body, and that's what we're just trying to raise the alerts and let you know about this, because it's a serious issue.
Because once you fix what you're bringing into your body, then you're going to be able to start getting rid of some of those toxins. And after you fix what you're bringing in, that's where we're going to start going over organ detoxes, and then you can flush some of the toxins that are currently hanging out there that shouldn't be, and you can flush some of them out, and they actually will get out, and you won't be replacing them anymore. So that's why we're doing this food one first. This is really, really important.
It's very important, and it's right on a good time. We're going to finish out Christmas. You're going to have all this type of food. You're going to have to restock your fridge because half the food's gone anyways. So this is a great time for you to go ahead and start replacing it with good natural things. Because what it is this series is prepping you. We are prepping you for the next step, which is going to be your organ detox, which is going to be getting your body now taken care of, because you took care of everything around your home. You got rid of the toxins and chemicals and stuff like that. Now you've got to take care of the food, and now you got to do this. So kind of the importance, and that's why we're doing it like this. And we're going to go even further. Okay, we have some exciting things coming up, and we have some really good information coming in. So we're going to go ahead and open up the chat session.
We've got chat.
So you guys can go ahead and chat online. Thank you for those of you who have been watching the entire time. We know it's a longer video, but it's really important, and we don't want to just let it slide. We want everybody to be aware of this, because we could just shoot it out there, but we're backing this up with evidence, and we're trying to back it up with actual facts.
And that's especially where I want you guys to go and look about these different documentaries I told you about on Fresh, Food Inc., and then also The Future of Food. Those are 3 very, very good ones that I would really like for you to get. Most of those are on Prime Video if you are a Prime member. Some of them I think you might even be able to get free, or just like maybe $5.
Yeah,
Something like that.
$5.
They're really, really reasonable. Well, they might be more than that. I don't remember. But, either way, they're really not that much and have amazing just slew of information.
From actual doctors, actual farmers,
yes.
actually nutritionists who actually understand everything like that.
Yes.
So you don't have to take our word for it. You can actually hear it from the mouth of the horse, forgive the saying.
Yeah.
But right then and there, so.
Yeah, and so just please go check those out, especially as you to give you more information to go on, so that whenever you're talking to your friends and family members, you don't just sound crazy. Hey, sometimes I do that, but then you have your facts to back yourself up as well, because people are going to ask questions and be wondering what in the world you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's and not only that, we're with the foods, we're adding in the oils as well. That's how David and I got started. We're going to tell you more next week on that. Is the whole, the oils helped us start, flushing some stuff out of our system and started getting us on new things. So, that's how we got started. If you want to get started that way as well, I can help you get started that way. I'm going to be having more classes after the first of the year if you want to learn more about oils and how they can help you on your new lifestyle. So, just...
And one other thing also, if you haven't done it yet, you need to go to our YouTube page. You need to like it and subscribe so that you can refer your friend or family member onto these videos as well, because it really, really helps. It's kind of like I call it a little bit of a gift, because in all reality, you are giving them the opportunity of knowledge. See, knowledge is power, and once you have it, and once you obtain it, you can start applying it into your life. And suddenly, rather than just be giving someone a gift of a food or something natural that's going to, suddenly you give them the awareness of how to be a human being and not a walking trash bag, if you know what I'm saying. So, any questions online? Anybody want to shoot out any questions for Gina and I to discuss?
I think we're good. Looks like we're good.
Okay.
So, always feel free to message me. I'm always happy to answer any questions. If you're watching this video later, I'll help you out in any way possible. And Friday we're going to be going over our lifestyle and how we have been changing our lifestyle, how much we have changed it, and how we do it, so hopefully there'll be some tips in there that you can draw from. And we're going to keep on going from here and talk more about food, organ detox, prescription medications is going to be in there. We've got a whole slew coming up. So.
We have to touch that subject, sadly.
Yeah.
And even possibly even vaccinations. That's going to be interesting. I've been doing a lot of research into it. We're going to bring some stuff to the table that you need to be aware. And you need to be aware, and in the long run you'll be very thankful, very thankful. So
definitely. All right, guys. Well, this will wrap it up for this week. You have an awesome week. I will see you on Friday. So keep it natural and stay healthy.
Coming from Gina. Coming from Bo. You guys have a wonderful day. Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Enjoy time with your family through the holidays, all right? Have a wonderful day, everybody.